Welcome to Lively Lewis Stories.
Buckle up, because you're about to join Levi and Ivy on an adventure.
All you need is your imagination, and off we
go! Lively Lewis Stories!
Hey there, awesome friends.
Guess what?
We're super thrilled to share some exciting news with you.
We've got our very own Lively Lewis merchandise.
Woohoo! Grab your parents and head over to livelylewisshop.com or simply click on the link below in our show notes.
Now, let's dive into today's story.
What should have been the start to an amazing summer was anything but. Levi and Ivy sat on their deck, staring up at the clouds as they drifted by. "What do you want to do today?" asked Levi, sounding anything but excited. "I don't know. What do you want to do?" replied Ivy, sounding like she didn't really care too much what the response would be. "I don't care," said Levi. "Me neither. Let's just sit here a little bit longer," said Ivy. Just then, their mom walked out and joined them on the deck. "Happy summertime, kiddos!" she exclaimed as she placed 2 ice-cold lemonades on the table in front of Levi and Ivy. "Why so frowny?" "We're bored," they both said. Levi yawned and Ivy closed her eyes to make it look like she was sleeping. "There's nothing to do around here," said Levi. "Yeah, nothing exciting or cool ever happens in our neighborhood," added Ivy. "That doesn't sound like my 2 kids," said their mom in disbelief. "You 2 are always so creative and imaginative. You're always up for an adventure and have fun no matter where you are." "I guess, but lately it just doesn't feel, well, magical around here," yawned Levi. "I agree," said Ivy. "It feels kind of ordinary." "Well, you're the only ones that can change that," added their mom with a big smile. "Like right now, look up in the sky and tell me what those clouds look like to you." Clouds, I guess?" muttered Levi. "No, look closer. Use your imagination," urged their mom. "That one kind of looks like a small cloud," said Ivy. "Is that better?" "Oh no, this is no way to start the summer off. We need to get you 2 up and moving," said their mom as she walked inside. She came back out a few minutes later with Levi and Ivy's dad. "Come on, you 2. You're going shopping with us," said their mom as she helped them up from the lounge chairs they were lying on. "Nice. Are we going to the candy store?" asked Levi. "Or the ice cream shop?" added Ivy. "Nope. We're going to the antique store," said their dad. Levi and Ivy groaned and flopped back down on the lounge chairs. "We'll just wait here," said Ivy. "No way. You 2 have to get up and get your creative spirit back," said their mom. "The summer is about endless possibilities, wonder, and surprises. The summer is all about making anything happen, dancing with fireflies at night, and finding new and incredible adventures around every corner," added their dad. Unfortunately for them, Levi and Ivy just sat there, staring at their parents. "So we're supposed to find our creative spirit at the dusty old antique store?" asked Levi, sounding confused. "Well, not exactly," said their mom. "That spirit is something that lives inside of you. You 2 just need to find yours again. The antique store is such a magical place, filled with things you've probably never seen before. Maybe that will be just enough to get you excited about being, well, excited again." "I guess it couldn't hurt," groaned Ivy as she looked at Levi. "The faster we go, the faster we can come back and lay on the deck again," whispered Levi. So off Levi and Ivy went with their parents to an antique store. When they got there, they walked in and immediately noticed a certain smell. "Ew, what's that smell?" said Ivy, covering her nose. "It smells like the basement at Grandma and Grandpa's house," said Levi. "That's the smell of extraordinary memories," said their dad, taking a deep breath. "Just think about all the memories that live here, all the people that have used these things in the past, and how cool it would be to add our memories to them." "No, thank you," said Ivy, giving a little cough. "Can we go wait in the car?" Levi and Ivy turned as if to leave until they heard. "You're not going to wait in the car," said their mom. "You're going to take a look around and see if anything helps bring out your wonderful creative spirits. With so many marvelous things in here, there has got to be something that interests you. Maybe you'll find a treasure map hidden between a painting in an old frame, or a priceless diamond necklace that was worn by a queen," said their dad before Levi interrupted him. "Or a shelf in here that's not covered in dust. Levi said with a laugh, Ivy beginning to laugh too. Well, at least you're not frowning anymore, said their mom. It's working a little. Now take a look around and keep your eyes open for wonder, magic, and the possibility of something great being just around the corner. Remember, if you can dream it, there's a good chance you can make it come true. Levi and Ivy stood by the door to the antique store as their parents walked off down a seemingly endless aisle. So I guess we have to look around, said Levi as he and Ivy started to walk toward the back of the store. As they walked further into the antique store, it seemed as if they were the only ones there. Then they saw it, a small door that was hidden behind a bookshelf. Maybe this is the wonder and magic Mom was talking about, said Levi to Ivy. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to find a hidden door in an old antique store, replied Ivy. It does kind of make me want to see what's behind it and maybe have a little adventure. Me too, said Levi, smiling. They pushed the bookshelf out of the way and turned the doorknob. The small door swung open and was just big enough for both of them to fit through. Levi and Ivy looked at each other, and without saying a word, both of them took a step through the door, heading into the glow of a soft light that seemed warm and inviting. What they saw next was nothing short of truly extraordinary. Levi, is that a unicorn? Ivy said in an excited whisper. You are correct, answered the unicorn. So glad you finally arrived. I've been waiting here for you too. You've been waiting for us? Asked Levi, sounding very confused. Yes, I think I have something you need, said the unicorn. My name is Stardust. Welcome to my world. Levi and Ivy said hello and introduced themselves. And while it was amazing to meet a real unicorn in an antique store, they were both very interested to know what Stardust could possibly have that they needed. I've been patiently waiting because I knew you both needed to get your creative spirit back, said Stardust. And I think I can help. How? Asked Ivy. I'm going to introduce you to some of my friends. After meeting them, I don't think there's any way you won't believe that anything is possible, said Stardust with a smile. But you have to take me back home with you first. How would we do that? Asked Levi. Here's your first chance to make the seemingly impossible possible. Wonderful things are waiting for you every day. You just have to keep your eyes open for them, said Stardust. Just believe. Levi and Ivy took a step away from Stardust to talk. After chatting for a bit, they looked uncertain of their decision, but figured maybe Stardust was right. Anything was possible, especially when you're talking about taking a talking unicorn home from an antique store. I think if we turn you into a toy, then we can ask our parents to buy you from the store. We can get you home with no questions, said Ivy. That sounds like a great imaginative and creative idea, said Stardust with a smile. In a snap, she turned herself into a toy, small enough for Ivy to pick up. Now I'll stay a toy until you get me back home, whispered tiny Stardust as they exited out the small door and into the antique store. Levi and Ivy ran off holding Stardust and quickly found their parents. They asked if they could buy the unicorn, and their parents said absolutely after seeing the joy and excitement finally return to their kids' faces. As soon as they got home, Levi and Ivy told their parents they wanted to go play outside. Excellent! You're getting that spirit back, said their mom. I knew that trip to the antique store would work. That place is magical. Levi and Ivy ran outside with Stardust, placed her in the middle of their flower garden. Hidden by the tall blooms, they figured Stardust wouldn't be easily seen when she turned back into a full-size unicorn. And as quickly as she turned into a toy, she magically turned back into a beautiful, big unicorn they had first met at the antique store. And alongside her appeared the small door once again. Now that we're back home, I'd like each of you to go and get 2 of your favorite toys and meet me back here, said Stardust. So off Levi and Ivy ran. When they returned, Levi was holding his favorite race car and a robot that he had just gotten for his birthday. Ivy was holding her favorite watercolor paint set and a giraffe stuffed animal that she had since she was a baby. Stardust nudged open the door with her nose and motioned for Levi and Ivy to follow her. They followed along, and before they knew it, they were back in the magical world from the antique store. There was nothing around them at all, as far as they could see. And that's when Stardust told them that anything was possible. The world was a blank canvas that they could fill with whatever they wanted. And as they were looking around in awe, Levi and Ivy heard something. Hi, Ivy, said a small voice. Ivy and Levi both quickly realized it was coming from Ivy's toy giraffe. Hello, Levi, came a roaring voice from his race car. One by one, Levi and Ivy's favorite toys started to say hello. That's amazing, exclaimed Levi and Ivy. Then Ivy's watercolor paintbrush picked up a little yellow and a little red and swirled it together in a brilliant orange color. The brush then landed in Ivy's hand and she painted a beautiful scene of flowers on a hillside that her giraffe danced in happily. Then a road by the hill where Levi hopped into his race car with his robot by his side and zoomed off. Stardust just stood back and smiled as she watched Levi and Ivy's creative spirit return and fill the world around them with magic. After a few minutes of playing and exploring, Levi and Ivy ran over to Stardust. "Thank you so much for showing us this world," said Levi. "I can't believe we ever forgot that all of this was possible with just a little imagination and a little magic," added Ivy. "You're welcome," said Stardust. "I wanted to make sure that I showed you that your toys at home hold the same magic that I do, and it wasn't only in the antique store. Now that you know that, I'd love for you to meet some of my friends." Stardust gave a whistle that swept over the hillside. Then one by one, her friends appeared. First, a beautiful radiant sunbeam stretched across the sky, and out it flew a whimsical fairy covered in sparkling glitter and flowers. After she touched down on Stardust's back and waved to Levi and Ivy, the ground began to tremble. The hillside seemed to shrink in comparison to a mighty dragon that stepped out from behind it. His emerald scales glistened in the sun. He bowed his head towards Levi and Ivy as the sun became shadowy for a moment. By the wing of a great griffin, a mythical creature with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, and the head, wings, and front legs of an eagle. The griffin rested just next to Stardust and also said hello. Levi and Ivy could barely talk, and even if they were able to, they didn't know what to say. As they stood there in disbelief, in a world they had created filled with wonderful, magical friends, they knew they had gotten their creative spirit back. Finally, Levi and Ivy knew what they wanted to say. They looked at Stardust, their toys, and Stardust's mythical friends and said, "This is the most magnificent place we've ever seen. We could have never created it without you." Stardust then walked over to Levi and Ivy and said, "Actually, we would have never been here without you. Never forget that. You both have the power to make anything happen with imagination and a little touch of wonder. And even if you fail, you'll learn from the experience. Never give up, Levi and Ivy. Never lose your creative spirit again, and never stop looking for the next great adventure. There's one radiant around every corner, and a bookshelf or two." And in a flash, Stardust gave them a big smile, and suddenly Levi and Ivy found themselves back in the garden. Sitting next to them were Levi's race car and a robot, Ivy's watercolor paint set and a giraffe, the toy version of Stardust, as well as a toy fairy, a dragon, and a griffin. Levi and Ivy gathered up their toys and walked silently into their backyard. Their parents were sitting on the deck enjoying some lemonade when they saw them. Levi and Ivy's eyes looked filled with excitement, wonder, and magic. Very different when they had looked earlier that day. "So you two look like you got your creative spirit back," said their mom with a smile. "I'm so happy. Were you playing a game with that unicorn toy you got from the antique store?" "You could say that," said Levi with a giggle as he looked at Ivy. "We were on a great adventure looking for something very important," added Ivy. "And we definitely found what we were looking for." Did you learn a lesson from this story?
If so, what was it?
And parents, do your kids have a story idea?
Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, the idea, and your kid's name for a chance to join Levi and Ivy on their next adventure. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Come back for more.